7 of the 10 teams on the F1 grid go into 2021 with at least one new driver. That's a big shake-up, so we wanted to work out who has the best lineup. 8 members of our team were asked to rank the driver pairings from worst to best, and we scored those results using the F1 point system, with the best lineup getting 25 points each time and just 1 for the worst. Of course, there are many ways you can define the best lineup, as the 2 fastest drivers might not be expected to work the best together, so we left that interpretation open for our judges to decide. Here's what we came up with, and make sure you let us know how you would rank the lineups in the comments. Number 10, Haas. It's little surprise to see Haas here at the bottom, given it's gone for an all-rookie lineup out of necessity to make sure the team has the financial security to stay afloat. But it will at least be interesting to see how Mick Schumacher gets on in his first season on the F1 grid. Number 9, Alfa Romeo. From all change at Haas to no change at Alfa Romeo, which decided Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi are a safe enough pairing to stick with for a third season together. Raikkonen's best days are behind him, but he was the top Class C performer in 2020, and it was his decision to activate the option in his contract to stay for another year, so he's clearly still hungry. Giovinazzi's peaks were considered high enough to warrant him hanging on to the Ferrari contracted seat in the lineup, but with so many talented juniors on Ferrari's books, he'll need to step up a level this year to extend his stay. Number 8, Williams. This is one of a handful of lineups that's being carried by one star driver, in this case Mercedes protege George Russell. There's no question Russell has been dragging the most out of poor Williams machinery in his first 2 seasons in F1, especially on Saturdays, where he made Q2 9 times for the team in 2020. If anything, Russell's ability, as shown on his Mercedes stand-in performance at the Sakir Grand Prix, makes Nicholas Latifi harder to judge. Is the Canadian a solid hand being shown up by a superstar teammate, or is he just a well-funded driver buying his way onto the grid? Number 7, Aston Martin. Aston Martin has a 4-time world champion and a podium finisher with a pole position to his name in its lineup this year, yet there are question marks over both. The strength of Sebastian Vettel's CV has been weakened by his dreadful final year with Ferrari, and it's crucial to his hopes of making a success of this move for him to rediscover his mojo. For that, what used to be Racing Point will need to provide the right environment to get the best out of Vettel. Lance Stroll has shown that his level can be high on his best days, but with 4 seasons in F1 under his belt now, he needs to be reaching that level on a more consistent basis. Number 6, AlphaTauri. There wasn't much in it in the final scores between AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, but that highlights the point we just made about the Aston lineup. AlphaTauri has a 1-time race winner previously rejected by Red Bull's main team in Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda moves up to F1 after just 1 season in F2, yet that was ranked as a better combination than Vettel and Stroll. What's exciting about the lineup in Red Bull's second team is its potential. Gasly has rebuilt himself after being demoted in 2019, and if Red Bull won't ever call him back, it's surely a matter of time before someone else snaps him up. Tsunoda isn't just a Japanese signing to appease Honda. He's been a legitimate member of Red Bull's junior program and made a big impression with the difficult to please Helmut Marko who runs that scheme. There's a strong belief that he's got a real chance of giving Japan the F1 star it desires. Number 5, Alpine. Every member of our panel put the team formerly known as Renault 5th in their rankings. There are no doubts over Fernando Alonso's desire on his return, so the only thing the 39-year-old has to prove is that 2 years away from F1 hasn't blunted his phenomenal abilities. A tough year alongside Daniel Ricciardo wasn't great for Esteban Ocon's reputation, and Alonso is unlikely to make life any easier for the Frenchman. Number 4, McLaren. McLaren's lineup ranked anywhere between 2nd and 4th among our experts. Daniel Ricciardo moves over from Renault, having enhanced his reputation as one of F1's true top-tier drivers. That makes him an excellent benchmark for Lando Norris, who will want to fare better alongside Ricciardo than Nico Hülkenberg and Esteban Ocon did in the last 2 years. As 2021 rumbles on, we should get a much clearer idea on if Norris is simply a very good F1 driver or a future superstar. Number 3. Mercedes. It's fair to say there can only be one side of the Mercedes garage dragging F1's dominant team down this ranking, and in the end it only narrowly outscored McLaren. If a few more of us were already convinced about Norris's true level, Mercedes would have slipped to 4th. While much is made of how the Lewis Hamilton-Valtteri Bottas partnership is ideal for Mercedes, no one on our panel placed it at the top of their order. Bottas needs another winter of driving rally cars, growing a beard and swearing at to whom it may concern to rebuild himself after another bruising year alongside Hamilton, which wasn't helped by George Russell's star performance with Mercedes at the Sakir Grand Prix. Number 2. Red Bull. It's fair to say Red Bull would have been further down this list had it stuck with Alex Albon for another season. But there was a real mix from our panel on where Red Bull ranks with Sergio Perez in alongside Max Verstappen. With Perez coming off the back of his best season in F1 and now a race winner, he looks like the perfect choice for Red Bull. However, racing at the front brings different challenges to battling for midfield honours, so there are still some doubts over how seamlessly Perez can make that switch. Being Verstappen's teammate is one of the toughest jobs in F1. And while Perez hasn't been signed with the expectation of beating Red Bull's team leader, he must be close enough to give the team a stronger hand to play in races against Mercedes. Number 1. Ferrari. At least Ferrari is doing something right. As you can see from our scores, this one wasn't even close. If anything, Charles Leclerc came out of his year spent driving a bad car having enhanced his reputation as one of the best on the grid. He took the troublesome SF1000 to places it didn't belong and comprehensively saw off Sebastian Vettel in their second season together. The only question Leclerc still needs to answer is if he can fight for a championship in F1, and it's unlikely he'll get the chance to prove that in 2021. While Sainz may not be considered a direct match for Leclerc, he's a driver who keeps on improving. After his 2 years at McLaren, he's a very different prospect to the one that was passed over by Red Bull and Renault earlier in his career. And if Ferrari thought it was signing Sainz as a solid number 2, it could be in for a rude awakening. We don't yet know how well Ferrari will bounce back from its 2020 problems this year, but there's one thing we can be certain of. If it struggles again in 2021, that can only be blamed on the car. That's how we've ranked the 2021 F1 driver lineups from worst to best, and remember to tell us in the comments what your order is. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, even if you disagree with our ranking, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to show your support for the channel and to keep up with everything we're doing here at the race in 2021.